What up, big dogs? Welcome to the muck hole. A while ago, I put out a video on how the Lolcow commentary scene functions. What keeps it running, what keeps it escalating, and why it's so hard for anyone in that ecosystem to stop once they start. I described this growing niche on YouTube where creators cover people milked for entertainment known as Lolcows. These creators, known as Lolcow YouTubers or KiwiTubers, make their living by turning the missteps of Lolcows, often the missteps of mentally ill or developmentally disabled people, into entertainment while making moral judgments. The business model is simple. You wrap ridicule in the language of commentary and produce an endless stream of shitty reaction videos. And I'll be real, in an older video, I disavowed Kiwi Farms. That was before I spent time looking at what it is and what's on there. In the case of the KiwiTuber thread specifically, it operates as an archive that catalogs people who build careers off of stealing, exaggerating, and posturing. This thread was created in June of this year by a user that goes by Osama bin Laden, or OBL. For this video, the important details start on page 173 of that thread. And there's also a nice summary by that Osama bin Laden user on page 228. I don't co-sign the doxing, and I don't co-sign harassment. But for this specific thread, it's really the only place that consistently keeps a paper trail of what KiwiTubers do. But a quick recap. Let's go over how all of their videos usually sound. Cue the script.
Wow, can you believe this slob? Let's watch them fail repeatedly and act surprised each time it happens.
The reason it works is simple. It gives the audience and the creators a cheap little hit of superiority. These creators repeat the same jokes and insults. They rarely go beyond surface level mockery. It's one thing to laugh at someone or something for being dumb. It's another thing entirely to build your whole persona around being above the person that you're clowning on. What interests me is the cycle underneath it all. When someone labeled as a lolcow engages in chaotic behavior online, a KiwiTuber turns it into content. That content drives a burst of attention. Seeing the spike, or sometimes not even consciously noticing it, the original poster is encouraged to post again, and the commentator is encouraged to keep churning out more videos. The platform's algorithms reinforce the loop by pushing these new Lolcow videos to more people. Nobody has to consciously decide to exploit anybody. The pattern of rewards do the work for them. Today, we're going to examine what happens when that loop turns inward. When the creators who profit from Lolcows start exhibiting the same behaviors that they mock, and when others in the scene begin to turn on them. We'll use the fiasco that the KiwiTuber the Leaping Lemur was recently involved in as an example, and we'll look at the patterns of reward and punishment that make this outcome almost inevitable. Sometimes a Lolcow video blows up with thousands of views. Sometimes a stream gets a bunch of donations. Sometimes they flop. Because the payoff is unpredictable, creators keep churning out content similar to their content that has done well in the past, hoping that something hits. On the other side, the people getting mocked don't even have to consciously notice what's happening for it to shape their next move. They do something chaotic, suddenly there's a rush of comments, likes, reactions, and attention. And that makes the odds go up that they do something similar again. Over time, both sides drift toward escalation. Bigger reactions, bigger antics, bigger stakes. Because that's what reliably produces the biggest payoff. Framing their work as commentary, or documentation, lets KiwiTubers talk down their subjects as if they're moral arbiters. By describing their targets as deserving of ridicule, or less than human, they reduce guilt or shame that might normally discourage cruelty. If your friends and fans are laughing along, you're less likely to feel bad about what you're doing. The problem is that this style of interaction boomerangs. If you train your audience to respond to messy, impulsive behavior with mockery and disgust, you shouldn't be too shocked when you become the messy, impulsive person, and they use that exact same voice on you. The Leaping Lemur is a YouTube creator who built his channel around reacting to mainly TikTok lolcows. According to the information pieced together by the Kiwi Farms user Osama bin Laden and Lemur's ex-girlfriend, he's a 21-year-old man named Gilberto, standing at 5'9" and ironically weighing around 250 to 300 pounds. The thread also noted that he still lives at home with his family. This background matters because it contradicts the well-put-together, self-assured persona he cultivated in his videos. I'm also willing to bet that most KiwiTubers have a similar build and background. Lemur's content often centered on mocking lolcows for being overweight, having poor hygiene, living with family members, and oversharing their personal lives. Ironically, many of these characteristics apply to him. Photos shared by his former girlfriend show him in a cluttered room with leftover food and unwashed plates. His beard is patchy and unkempt, and according to his ex-girlfriend, he smells like mildew and cheese. Earlier this year, Lemur began a relationship with a 19-year-old viewer he met through Discord. Spoiler, it only lasted a few months. She was a fan of his channel, and I think knew a little bit about kiwi farms. The Leaping Lemur chose to make the relationship public on Twitter and urged her to comment and show up on his YouTube chat so that everyone would know she was his. This choice immediately blurred the boundaries between his private life and a parasocial audience. In his apology video, he admitted that he told her there was a risk in appearing on his channel, but he downplayed it, saying he thought that she understood the culture.
So like a few months ago, I had started dating somebody online, which isn't a good idea. But what also isn't a good idea is that I told them about my YouTube channel, which at the time didn't seem like a big deal because they were also posting stuff online. I thought they understood like Lolcow culture. I thought they understood content. They said that they watched me a lot. And I was like, cool, that's what's up. I told them that, you know, there's a risk to posting your face online. There's a risk to being associated with me. They said that that was cool. They were like, well, they didn't say that was cool, but they were like, oh, you know, that's crazy, that's insane, whatever.
So he publicly posted about them, and he encourages this girl to publicly post that they're together, leading to her and her family getting doxxed, which he should have known was going to happen as a creator in the Lolcow space. On top of that, he even attempted to downplay the whole doxing situation with his ex-girlfriend, saying stuff like,
"Every big YouTuber gets doxed."
The relationship quickly devolved. And to be clear, a lot of what follows is pieced together from screenshots, DMs, and retellings. Not courtroom evidence, not a full record, and not something you can prove without a shadow of a doubt from the outside. But it is enough to talk about patterns and risk factors. According to private messages that the ex-girlfriend shared to Kiwi Farms, Lemur flew to visit her on December 2nd. And supplied alcohol even though she was under 21.
I'm not gonna lie, I mean, everybody drinks before they turn 21, right? If you're like 19, 20, you go into a party, you're gonna drink. So I'm drinking, I mean, that's what I do, you know what I mean? Like I chill, like I get chill when I drink. And everything's cool, like the first couple of nights were chill. And I'm like the third night, I don't know what happened with this girl, but I'm being honest with you right now. We drank, it wasn't, I don't even think, I mean, I wasn't that drunk. Maybe she drank more than me, honestly. But then again, she's a fucking, like, she knows what she's doing, you know what I mean? She drinks more than me.
They broke up soon after on December 19th, and this contributed to the Kiwi farmer Osama bin Laden reaching out and bringing her to the farms. She described getting drunk on hard liquor to the point of blacking out on multiple occasions. In those messages, she said that at one point she awoke naked and confused, and that Lemur repeatedly pressured her to perform sexual acts until she complied. When asked if anything sexual happened, she described feeling forced, but she hesitated to call it rape because she feared being seen as vindictive. The details here matter because the risk factors start to stack up. She's under 21, alcohol's involved, she reports blackouts, and she described repeated sexual pressure until she gave in. You don't need some sort of cartoon villain intent for that sort of situation to become unsafe. The setup itself makes it easy for someone to end up doing something that they wouldn't agree to sober. Whatever occurred is due to Lemur's reckless actions. The ex-girlfriend also provided details that undermined Lemur's public persona. He talks shit about fellow KiwiTubers behind their backs, although they all probably do that because they desperately want the audiences of each other. He called a former collaborator, Major Chilla, also a shitty KiwiTuber bound to walk the same path someday, a drunk, and a guy that goes by Antimatter Morty a sellout. He also apparently pays his own editor only $50 a video, while deriding that editor as performative. He told his ex-girlfriend that he used to weigh around 300 pounds, but is now only around 270, and that he hates fat people. In one message, he bragged about earning $6,000 to $10,000 a month, yet somehow simultaneously cried when his father's credit card was declined at McDonald's, and also only has $3,000 in his bank account. On top of all of this, his ex-girlfriend said that he relies on his disabled father to drive him everywhere. Lemur often mocks Lolcows for living at home and being broke, and these revelations just show that he isn't much different at all. At one point, Lemur encouraged his girlfriend to make similar videos to his. Good old classic shitty videos where they're mocking Lolcows, and offered to guide her as some sort of dumbass mentor. The message heavily implied that he seemed to want her dependent on him for income. At one point, he said that he could take care of her with only $3,000 in his bank account. A laughable proposition. When someone asked whether they did anything sexual, she wrote,
"I felt forced, but I wouldn't say he raped me because that's gay."
And again, I want to note that the evidence here is a bit murky. There are only her messages, but they do paint a picture of repeated requests, heavy drinking, and a coercive dynamic that left her feeling like she had little choice. I also think it's important to note that the ex-girlfriend's story has remained consistent, whereas Lemur's has changed around quite a bit. After the breakup, she said that Lemur threatened to make a video on her. Some of the lamest stuff I've heard. Like, this guy actually threatened.
I'm gonna make you a lolcow if you ever leave me.
A bizarre boast that he could turn her into content. He released an apology video in the midst of all of this, with it focused almost entirely on her behavior, ignoring his own role in creating those contingencies. After all, he was the one that supplied copious amounts of alcohol to someone under the drinking age while repeatedly asking her to engage in sex acts. Further, Lemur pulled a similar maneuver that he does with the lolcows that he covers, saying that the relationship was toxic because his ex supposedly had BPD, when she has never received that diagnosis.
I should have listened to the people on Kiwi Farms when they said this girl was crazy, when they said this girl was BPD. I didn't want to believe it because I was in love with her. I thought I knew her more. I'd had deeper conversations with her. That's the bottom of the line. That's it. Like, that's all I can tell you. I thought I knew her better than these people did, and literally exactly what they thought was going to happen happened.
But that's also just something that he stole from the Kiwi Farms too. Other messages further depict Lemur acting like the very lolcows he covers. During a trip, he reportedly lost his luggage and began screaming at the airline staff like a child. He uses racial slurs and brags about wearing a Rolex and nice shoes, although the Rolex is likely fake. The leaks also showed that he has an interest in incest porn and that he makes fetishistic comments regularly. He is also extremely insecure. Who would have guessed? In one set of messages, he directly says that Kiwi Farms makes him insecure, which is hilarious, because this is what the people he covers deal with daily, at a much higher level too. In short, the private Lemur displays impulsivity, insecurity, entitlement, poor self-care skills, and manipulation, the hallmark traits that he lampoons in others. Kiwi Farms users, specifically that Osama bin Laden user I mentioned earlier, was the first to surface the allegation in leaks. They invited the ex-girlfriend to join the forum, and someone provided her an invitation code and explained how to register. It's crazy that the site supposedly full of incels, women haters, and racists decided to come together to side with a Latina woman. In her own words, the ex-girlfriend later said that the posters there were nothing but nice and charitable, even if the humor was crude. Because the Kiwi Farms functions as an archive, they even cautioned her that once information is posted, it can't be deleted. By gathering the receipts and archiving them, the thread acted as a sort of chaotic good watchdog, rather than a frenzied mob. Once the other Kiwi tubers saw the leaks, the real feeding frenzy came from within. Creators who had previously collaborated with Lemur, or who occupy the same niche, like Bloodspeth, Major Chilla, Smokey McC, Kiwi Tapes, and other smaller creators. They quickly distanced themselves or produced content to milk the whole situation.
All kinds of awful shit against the Leaping Lemur, and there's a lot of proof to back it up.
This guy...
He talked horrible shit on tons of people, but that's like nothing in comparison to what he got up to with this 18-year-old girl that he met online. So, like, this is not a joke. Lemur is a very fucked up individual. Yeah.
And, like I said, I saw some stuff about him just... He meets this girl, and he's just trashing his co-host, Chinchilla, to her.
Chinchilla's like so nice too. I don't get that. He's like absolutely fucking just saying all this awful shit. But like I said, it's nothing in comparison to like what he's being accused of. It's not a joke. This is very real.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna come here and pull your guys' leg. Lemur put up some apology video too that doesn't even address a lot of the claims people have towards him.
No, I think it does such a shitty job from what I saw. Doesn't even address half of the shit.
The chat's literally calling him the creeping lemur.
I know. It's bad, guys. It's bad. You can go look on the farms if you really want the whole story. There's a shitload of it to look at, dude. I don't know the full extent of it, but from what I've seen, it's fucking awful. It's terrible. Yeah. So people need to know.
And we wanted to start the show off with that. I'm not going to go through all these screenshots. The girl he was talking to apparently showed a bunch of screenshots, one of which where he said, "Fuck Kiwi." He was mad.
Yeah, he said that I stole from him. He's like, I'm a thief. And okay, I really don't give a fuck, but it's like...
The fuck did you ever do to this guy?
No, dude, I don't know what the fuck I ever did.
Many seemed more upset that he had talked trash about them in private than the coercion or sexual assault allegations. They seized on the drama to boost their own channels, emphasizing their own moral superiority while ignoring how easily they could fall into the same pitfalls. It's inevitable that another one of these cases will come about. On the internet, especially the drama side, there are no lasting friendships, only temporary alliances and shared targets that last as long as they're convenient. The moment a Lolcow creator displays the same behavioral patterns that they criticize, the other creators will sink their teeth in like sharks smelling blood in the water. After the flood of leaks, Lemur uploaded a 21-minute video addressing the situation and hopped on a live stream to argue with the Kiwi Farms user Osama bin Laden and his ex-girlfriend.
You guys had been making, everybody probably already heard me say this already, but anyway, I was just making a joke trying to see if, like, I guess not even trying to see, just trying to make a joke towards the fact that Lily, like, people were messing around with Lily and saying she was a porn addict. So I was like, would you, it wasn't real, bro. Like, it was a fucking hypothetical.
My
like
girlfriend's a porn addict. I need to watch incest porn to counteract the haters.
But that's the thing, like, the text messages didn't show that I watch incest porn or that I like incest porn. It was me saying, like, what would you do if I
called you step, bro? Yeah, well,
it was a joke.
Boy. Come on.
Like, bro, I'm telling you right now, it was like a joking hypothetical. That's just like how me and
hey,
Lily
what
would
if
joke
we
around.
like LOL had sex? LOL, but just kidding though. LOL.
But that's not what it was, though. It was a hypothetical, like, of me trying to make. I guess it was, it was like a crude, edgy joke, bro. I'm just being honest with you. It really was, bro. It was, to me.
I'm laughing. That's why I find it funny.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to, like, I was fucking around with her, bro. Like, obviously, if I was into that shit, she would have way more text messages. We had a lot of sexual contact. She would have proof that I was like step sis, step da-da-da-da. It was one offhanded remark I made as a joke. That's my point I'm trying to make.
You probably should have thought that one out, buddy. Throughout his apology video, he never once says the word sorry. Instead, he frames the controversy as the result of being naive and in a toxic relationship. He emphasizes that he's only 21 years old and hasn't had many relationships. Implying inexperience excuses his choices somehow.
Now, I guess this is just me sort of being like naive or not really being in a lot of relationships, but I thought it was a good idea to start presenting this person on my channel. Obviously, in hindsight, not a good idea, but you know, to be honest with you, I'm young, I'm 21. I haven't been in many serious relationships, and it felt like this person had a strong connection to me. So I thought it was a good idea.
He portrays himself as gracious, saying that he gave her grace, allowed her to make her mistakes, and sat there and tried his best to be her partner.
Now, I want to say during this relationship, I was like the best I possibly could be to this person. Like, I gave them grace. They had made mistakes and I had let them make those mistakes. I'd sat there and I tried, and this was just me trying to like do the best by my partner, you know what I mean? And like give them the space to grow and give them the space to fail and also succeed. But it just kept happening. Like, bad things just kept happening one after another.
When he recounts the trip where she became intoxicated, he describes her as going through psychosis and attacking him, biting him, punching him, and destroying property. He shows a single photo of a tiny mark on his skin and states,
I'm not lying to you.
I'm not lying to you. Dead ass. I'll look you dead in the eye and tell me. Girl started socking me, like hitting me. She hit me in the jaw. She hit me in the mouth, and she bit my arm. Bit me. Maybe that's why they call her teeth gums. I don't know. She fucking bit me, right? Like, she started going through this crazy, and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you hitting me for? And she's like, leave me alone. Get out of here. Leave me alone.
Rather than addressing the alleged coercion, sexual assault, providing alcohol to someone under 21 while they were alone, seemingly in order to get her inebriated, or publicly displaying her on his channel, he chastises her for liking attention and implies that she faked allegations to gain clout.
At the end of the day, this girl wants attention. I sat there with her and we were chilling on the couch in the hotel, and I remember vividly having a conversation with her about how, and this was a huge red flag for me at the time, but I didn't really realize it until I sobered up, right? I didn't really realize it. She was sitting there telling me about how she always wanted to be a YouTuber, how she always wanted attention, and how she always craved attention. She said, she sat there and we were sitting down and she looked at me in the eye and she said, I would do anything to get that attention.
He complains about being talked about on Kiwi Farms and how hard he supposedly works. He uses that to justify talking shit about friends in private chats.
She took like zoomed in screenshots and made it seem like I was just straight talking shit about Chilla. I'm gonna be honest, you have conversations with people that are supposed to be personal conversations and you're venting to somebody. I have other things going on in my life. You know, I'm a 21-year-old, I have college, I have a family I have to take care of. I get frustrated sometimes when people are texting me, when people are calling me, when people are talking to me. Sometimes I get frustrated. I think I'm talking to my girlfriend. I think I'm able to vent to her, so I vented to her about it.
The only self-criticism he offers is that he was cringe for talking to her and for talking too much behind the backs of other people. He repeatedly says,
I didn't do anything negative in my opinion.
and ends up threatening to release more of her messages unless she stops.
I am a pretty well-adjusted person. I don't have mental issues. Like, I don't have mental disorders. I'm a well-adjusted person. I've always been able to communicate with people. I've always been able to keep relationships. I am an asshole at best. I am an asshole. I talk shit and I talk too much shit. I mean, you could come out, try, Lily. Let's see your screenshots. Let's see your evidence of anything that you said at all, because I have more. And you know that I have more stuff about you and about what you did to me.
His response boils down to three simple tactics: deflection, or highlighting her faults instead of his own actions; rationalization,
I was young and inexperienced.
and victimization,
She hit me and bit me.
all of which help him justify his behavior so that he can continue seeing himself as the hero. Several patterns help explain why Lolcow creators can become the very targets that they profit from. 1. Chasing unpredictable rewards. Sometimes, a KiwiTuber video brings them a shower of views, donations, and social approval. Other times, it flops. Because the payoffs come at random, creators keep pushing the boundaries hoping to hit another jackpot. 2. Sharing personal information over time. Creators can undergo a sort of shaping process, where boundaries erode incrementally. If a small personal anecdote gets a reaction, the next share may be a little more personal, and so on and so forth until you're sharing everything. That escalation doesn't feel dramatic as it happens over time, but it can compound quickly. 3. Losing empathy. By insisting their subjects deserve ridicule, KiwiTubers train themselves and their viewers to stop seeing the people they cover as human. That makes it easier to justify similar behavior when they themselves are criticized. For example, Lemur talked about his ex's mental health as proof that she was unreliable, while ignoring his own drinking and outbursts. Number 4. Blurring boundaries with the audience. Many commentators build their channels by making the viewers feel like friends. They invite fans into private Discord servers, share intimate stories, and solicit donations. This erodes the barrier between creator and audience. Lemur went further by dating a viewer and featuring her on his channel. When conflict arose, it ended up being aired out publicly. Once the wall between personal life and content breaks down, off-camera behavior inevitably becomes part of the show. Number 5. Projecting insecurities. People sometimes mock traits in others that they secretly dislike in themselves. This is nothing new or groundbreaking. Lemur ridiculed Lolcows for being overweight, messy, unemployed, or dependent on family. Yet, he matches many of those traits. Making fun of others may have helped him distance himself from his own insecurities. But when audiences discover these similarities, the jokes are gonna backfire. Number 6. Turning on each other. Groups built on shared mockery need new targets to stay entertained. When outside cows become less interesting, when the audience stops caring, or when the creator's behavior aligns with that of a Lolcow's behavior, the group turns inward. The Leaping Lemur fiasco highlights this within the Lolcow creator community. Several of his peers immediately distanced themselves and criticized him on stream when his own conduct mirrored the behaviors that they denounce. Little do they know, one of them is up next on the chopping block. The way Lemur's story spread illustrates how easily a mockery-based scene can eat itself or a Boris style. The Kiwi Farms thread served as a hub where leaked messages and images were archived, and posters there generally cheered on the ex-girlfriend. But the real feeding frenzy started when KiwiTubers mined that archive for material. Creators who had recently collaborated with Lemur or who occupied the same niche quickly distanced themselves and publicly disavowed them. Streams and tweets from other KiwiTubers paraded his private messages and images, and effectively turned him into content. Many seemed angrier about being insulted in his DMs than about the coercion allegations too, but that's besides the point. The same moralizing tone that they use when judging Lolcows was now aimed at one of their own. Loyalty evaporates as soon as someone in their circle displays the same impulsive behavior that they exploit. There are no lasting friendships when everyone is watching for the next Lolcow. Such cannibalism isn't even unique to Lolcow creators. Any online community built around negativity is at risk of turning inward. Without awareness of the reinforcement cycles you're participating in, you're gonna keep escalating, which eventually means attacking peers. Platforms like YouTube also incentivize this because outrage and humiliation drive clicks. With the absence of breaks, the cycle perpetuates itself. The Leaping Lemur's story isn't about a uniquely evil person. It's about how the systems of reward on platforms like YouTube shape both creators and audiences. When creators consciously or unconsciously notice that oversharing or stirring drama leads to bigger reactions, they're conditioned to do more of it. When viewers spend their time laughing at other people's meltdowns, they're conditioned to keep clicking on the next Lolcow video. Eventually, the line between performer and subject collapses, and the hunters become the hunted. Along the way, the contradictions pile up. He shows disdain for overweight people despite weighing 300 pounds. He boasted that he makes $6,000 to $10,000 a month from YouTube, yet he only has $3,000 in his bank account. When the persona you sell diverges from your reality, it only takes one leak for the discrepancy to become fodder for others. If you're a content creator and you want to avoid becoming a Lolcow, the safest move is to avoid feeding the machine. Keep your private life off of your channel. Don't build parasocial relationships with fans, and especially don't run Discord servers. Never assume that people on the internet are friends that will have your back. Many turn on you the moment that it benefits them. And if you are a Lolcow creator, don't threaten,
I'm gonna make you a Lolcow!
when a relationship ends. You don't actually have that power, and the threat itself makes you look like one. For the viewers, it's fine to laugh at dumb antics. We're all human. But there's a difference between chuckling at a ridiculous situation or clip and pretending that you're somehow better than that person. Engaging with humiliating content reinforces the demand for more. The only way to step out of the cycle is to be aware of what you're rewarding and what rewards you. Every click, comment, and upload teaches the system what to serve you next. Lemur probably isn't an outlier. He's just a bit early. A lot of people in the Lolcow creator space are playing with the same fire. Constant posting, constant streaming, blurred boundaries, parasocial access, and the belief that they're somehow immune to becoming content themselves. In an ecosystem built on humiliation, you don't need a grand scandal. All it takes is one bad relationship, one leaked DM, one impulsive stream, or one sloppy apology video. And now, you're the episode. The safest move is to keep your life private, because the moment you treat the internet like a social circle, you're already giving strangers leverage. And on the internet, leverage turns into content. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for hanging in the muck hole for a bit. I'll catch y'all later.